Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Butty. It's a pleasure being here.
So, as chairman of the CDC, what brings you to the United States?
Well, firstly, Mr. Butty, as you know, uh, during the last, say, 9 to 12 months, our country has been engulfed by Ebola. And as a major political party, we felt it was our responsibility to begin to provide some leadership. We came to the United States firstly to extend our thanks and appreciation to the United States government, and also to ask the United States government to find a way to see how we can now begin to address the post Ebola recovery program. So, and secondly, we also wanted to find an opportunity to speak to our partisans who are in the U.S. So that's the reason why we are here.
So, let's talk about the Ebola. Um, just this week, we are reading that it seems that somebody else has Ebola is coming back again.
Well, it's quite unfortunate. I mean, I've been reading on the news. When we left Monrovia, things were very good. Unfortunately, we are now reading that things are coming back. We are wondering why this is happening. Some people believe that Liberians probably they are beginning to forget about some of the measures that were put in place, the things that we're doing to prevent Ebola, and there are other who believe that our government should take some practical steps. You know, one of the reasons why we had Ebola was because the first person who brought Ebola to Liberia came from Guinea. And if the situation in Sierra Leone and Guinea is not resolved, there's always a tendency that there could be a re-emergence of Ebola in Liberia. But Liberians themselves, the citizens themselves, will now begin to realize that we cannot be complacent because this virus is very dangerous. And if we don't take the practical steps as we did to eradicate or reduce or eliminate the virus, we may continue to see the resurgence of the virus.
As a major political party, I mean, the major political party in Liberia, the leading political party. Am I right to say that?
You are very right. We are the leading, major, and most popular political party in the country.
Okay, so now what do you think? You came here to thank the United States. What do you think about the way your government handled the Ebola crisis?
Well, initially, I mean, the president also admitted that the government initially did not handle the process very correctly. Maybe it was maybe probably it could be because no one in the country knew what Ebola was, and so the government did not take keen interest. I think from March till June, until the death of an employee from the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Patrick Sawyer, before the government took interest. And by that time, the situation was already getting worse, and I think the government did not do well at the initial stage. However, I think it was a good initiative after the death of Patrick Sawyer for the government to now begin to call the international community to come in and see how the Ebola situation could be resolved. And we want to extend our thanks and appreciation to the international community, especially the United States of America, for coming to the aid of Liberian people. We hope the government have learned a new lesson, and the government will now begin to ensure that the resurgence of the virus will not occur, and we'll take all practical steps to make sure that we don't experience what we experienced 9 to 12 months ago.
So while you are here in the United States, you are also meeting with members of the CDC here. How strong is your party?
Well, our party is very strong. I've had the opportunity to speak to a lot of Liberians who are citizen. Liberians in the United States have much concern about what is happening back home. They want to see the situation improve. They want to have an opportunity to go back home. Liberians want to go back and invest. One other thing I'm hearing from Liberians is that the government is not creating the opportunity, the environment for Liberians to invest. And I've realized that. And during my inauguration, I raised that same issue. Look, when you are in opposition to the government, you're not an enemy. And the government cannot create barriers that only people in government can have the opportunity to invest. And citizens, Liberian citizens who are not members of the government or even in the opposition should have the opportunity to bring investment into their country. Because if we have investment, Mr. Butty, more Liberians will have jobs. But if you limit the possibility for opposition candidates or not Liberians who are not supportive of the regime not to bring investment in the country, then we have a problem on unemployment. Because the government alone cannot employ people. Now you see a lot of Liberians are unemployed. The difficulty is so high in the country, and people are complaining. And the government needs to change its course and say, look, the country belongs to everyone. What we need to do is to open up. Liberians will have the opportunity. But we cannot take foreigners over Liberians. Most of the investment in terms of the natural resources, you see the oil. We have a lot of concession going to oil company. You see foreigners are having opportunity to even do, for instance, rock business. We call it rock crusher, breaking rocks. And you have foreigners doing cold water business. Our government must now begin to give Liberian opportunity to take power of the whole economy.
So are you suggesting that investment opportunities are limited to people who sympathize or support the government?
I mean, that is correct, because, Mr. Butty, I know very well, if you are for CEC, for instance, if you went to Liberia and carry any investment in Liberia, there will be no way the government will give you opportunity to invest. I mean, this is a problem. And it is not becoming, let us suppress them until let us suppress them for them to become beggars. And government individuals have the opportunity now to bring in investors. They are doing all the investment, and we have to change that course.
So I talk to me. You talk about how the strength of your party here in the United States. I mean, did I hear that Ambassador George Weah might run for president again?
There's a strong possibility. Ambassador Weah, for now, like I said, Ambassador Weah is primarily focused on his senatorial portfolio. What he wants to do in the next 1 year, 1.5 years, is to try to change the condition of our people, provide opportunity for them. He has said, I mean, in 90 days, he will find a way to see how he can concentrate on basic health needs of the people, go in the community, provide work. Because sanitation, look, we don't even have safe drinking water, Mr. Butty. Sanitation is an issue, and Mr. Weah is primarily focused on that. He's trying to reach out, go to the villages. He was in Todi the last time, talking to the people. That is his primary focus now. As we go to 2017, there's a greater possibility that Ambassador Weah could be a candidate.
So, a candidate. Lately, I mean, your party has been plagued with a lot of, say, infighting. And there's been this criticism that your party is not, does not have no leadership, because you have this infighting going on in your party.
Well,
if you're going to be a contender, people say, well, you need to get your act together.
I think that is history. That is the past. I mean, that is, the party is very focused as we move forward now. You can see our president in the United States. We have a very strong team of leadership. We have a strong Secretary General. We have a strong youth leader. The National Executive Committee is very strong. We're a strong leader. Ambassador Weah himself is in charge. We are not talking about reconciliation. We are reaching out to other political parties to come in. One of the things we've said, Ambassador Weah said at my inauguration on the 20th of July, is that one party cannot win an election, meaning the CDC alone cannot do it. We are reaching out to Liberians from diverse backgrounds, irrespective of political persuasion, to come on board. So we are reaching out. Our party is very strong, very focused. As we speak now, we have people in Riverside. We having a by-election in Riverside. And there's no more infighting in our party. That was the past. Yes, because people will always say we have infighting because some individuals of our party have always violated the party principles. And when the party take action, people say we are infighting. That's really not being an infighting. But as we move forward now, the party, new leadership is primarily focused on bringing all parties in together. Individual level parties to come home and join the effort of rebuilding Liberia. That is primary, because, as you know, since 9 years of this government, 10 years, much have not been achieved, and Liberia want to see a lot. And the president said she will bring electricity. 10 years, we are still trying to build a hydro. And the agriculture sector is very down. Liberians who are growing their crops cannot afford to to even sell them. And I mean, we want to change our course, and so CDC is focused on that, and we're trying to bring people together.
We say bring people together, not just the partisans of the CDC. The people have said before, are you doing enough to recruit professionals?
We are doing that. I mean, one of the things we do, one of the things I've seen in my visit, a lot of professional Liberians who have real interest in their country. They want to go back home, and we have professionals also on the ground. But you guys have not been given the opportunity, and we want to change that. This government will now begin to move forward and not see professional Liberians who may have varying view to the government to see that as opponent. We need to bring them on board. They are Liberians who have something to contribute. And one of the things we said when we had our meeting at the State Department uh, was to assure the Americans that this perception or this idea that has been portrayed by our opponents that the CDC is a violent institution. That's not true. Yes, we may have young uh, partisans who, because of the law for their country, may see things be going wrong, and they may act in a way that people may think is not right. But genuinely, they want to see a change. They don't intend to destroy the country. Uh, in fact, Mr. Ambassador Weah has been a champion of peace in Liberia. And nowhere in the history of our country has the major opposition leader become the peace ambassador of the ruling party, advocating as the president is the actual peace ambassador, but for George Weah, who is a major opposition leader in the country, to be leading the effort in the interest of the president, it never happened before. That is a manifestation that CDC actually want peace. And one of the things we said to members of the State Department is that we in the CDC will never do anything to undermine the peace and stability of our country, because we believe that the CDC stand the best chance of winning elections. Individuals who don't have the opportunity to win an election may want to undermine the peace and stability to revert the gains we all Liberians have made in terms of keeping peace in our country. But CDC will not stand for that. We believe that we can provide a sound, incredible leadership for our country come 2017.
Now, before I have two more questions to go. What does your party think? Because it seems to me I can't talk to a Liberian without talking about corruption. Do you think we have made some progress in the fight against corruption?
I don't think we made any progress because the president said acknowledged that corruption has become a vampire. And I think it's a serious issue. And let me say that I've said I think the government is even encouraging corruption. Because I give you an example. The president or the government, if for instance you want to sign a legislation, I saw one of the senators who said that the government gave each 131,000 to pass an oil agreement. And people never read that. My view is to do that, you are encouraging corruption. And then when you come by and say corruption is a vampire, what do you expect the ordinary Liberian to say?
So talk to me, Mr. Chairman. Ambassador Weah is now a senator. What is it like? I mean, what is he like? Have you seen him in the Senate building?
Oh,
what is he like as a senator?
I mean, he's a common person. I mean, he's enjoying the job. I mean, but he's having also the opportunity to begin to experience what it's like to be a senator. He's in a learning process. He's listening more and talking less. He's trying to understand what the needs of the Liberian people are, especially the people from Masorado, and how he can help to champion that in the Senate. And he's working very closely with other senators. And so I've always, in fact, he and I have came to America. The both of us, along with other members of the legislature and executive member of the party, were at the State Department. And we had a very good meeting at the State Department. We talk about corruption. We talk about peace and stability of the country. We talk about the issue of Ebola, what we expect the American government to do to try to help our country in the post-Ebola recovery program. And Americans are very happy. And I mean, there are a lot of good things are happening with the CDC now.
No, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I just want to thank you and your team for stopping here at the Voice of America. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pop.